to the...
And welcome. My name is Guillaume Sanav. I am the Marketing Director here at 3C Logic, and I want to welcome all the attendees to this webinar hosted by 3C Logic and Envision. We're here to discuss the 6 ways to enhance your contact center as well as customer satisfaction in 2015, and with 2 very distinguished guests and industry experts here with us today. The first is Raj Sharma. He is the President and COO of 3C Logic, a leading provider of cloud contact center solutions, and as well as is Rodney Kuhn, who is the founder and CEO of Envision, a workforce optimization firm, also a leader within its own respective industry. Again, we're here to talk about how to enhance your contact center and customer satisfaction in 2015. And before we go into formal introductions of both Raj and Rodney, I'd like to spend about 5-10 minutes really to quickly cover what the current status of customer satisfaction now and presumably in the near future, and what role can we anticipate contact centers will play in that space. And so look at where customer experience stands and what the trends are. It's expected that by 2020, so by the end of this decade, customer experience is actually going to surpass price and product as the key brand differentiator. Just take a second here to let that sink in. Customer experience is going to surpass price and product. So essentially what this is stating is that moving forward, customers are going to increasingly value customer experience more so than they do product and price. So while most companies tend to fight over the quality of their product, or in some cases fight over price, the reality is the real battle, the winning battle, the one that you want to win, is going to be very much tied to customer experience, customer satisfaction. Let's make a difference. And so if you look at this chart here, we actually have or highlight the S&P 500 valuation for certain companies between the year of 2007 and 2012. And what's important here to note is that for those industries or for those leaders that have led in customer experience, they have actually seen a valuation increase in their companies by 43%, at least those listed on the S&P 500, which is significant when you compare it to those companies that have actually lacked in risk customer experience. They've actually seen a negative return on their investments as low as 34%. Customer experience has actually been something valuable, but hasn't necessarily gotten the attention it's deserved until very recently. Look at where contact centers will play. What role will they play with regards to customer experience? There's some interesting trends to really take note of. Notably, 80% of today's executives, per a recent report by IQPC, their executive report on customer experience dated last year, 2014, 80% of executives actually expect contact centers to define the customer experience. So it's expected to really set the basis for how companies are successful moving forward. Contact centers are going to play a crucial role in that initiative. And 62% of organizations actually view customer experience provided through your contact center as a competitive differentiator. So experience will be a key competitive differentiator, and contact centers will play a majority role in defining exactly how well you succeed in that regard. So what you can see is when you look at contact centers as cost centers, you're actually really not giving them their proper due. The reason that moving forward, contact centers are going to become the new face, or already are becoming the new face of the enterprise. And it's important to start treating them with that level of respect as it relates to customer experience and the role they'll play with regards to customer satisfaction and customer loyalty. But what we find is if we look at today, 80% of companies see they deliver superior customer service, and only 8% of respective consumers actually agree. So there's a huge gap between what companies think they're actually providing with regards to customer satisfaction and what customers actually interpret in regards to what they're receiving. And a huge impact. If you actually consider some data dating most recently 2013, 62% of global consumers actually switched vendors due to poor customer experience, which was actually a 4 to 5% increase from the prior year. And customers are actually 4 times more likely from a competitor if the problems that they were subjected to were related to customer service as opposed to issues specific to product or price, which again relates back to our initial discussion about how customer experience is really surpassing product and price as one of the main criteria for a consumer's buying decision. And challenges. Why does the gap exist, and what are some of the things that we can discuss here today with both Raj and Rodney with regards to improving or shortening the gap between what we believe we're delivering our consumers and what consumers actually think they're getting? And so here are a list of actually some of the hurdles, the common hurdles that contact centers are actually subjected to. First is, a lack of unified communication or unified message. This communication across the company's platforms, or for that, perhaps a complete breakdown in communication with regards to overall strategy. And both Raj and Rodney will address that very shortly. There's also a common misconception in terms of or misalignment with regards to what are the priorities for that contact center. Is it just simply maintaining customers? Is it increasing revenue? What are the priorities that you should focus on that will help make sure that your company's initiatives align with what customers want? Software, processes, and systems. This is really a big one. A lot of companies across the board invest significant amount of money in infrastructure, but what we'll find is, it doesn't do you much good if that infrastructure is disjointed and doesn't do a good job of communicating a single message for the agent and for your contact center to be able to rely on what interactions between agent and consumer occur. So we'll discuss that as well. Or for that matter, a complete lack of visibility into who your customer is or who they are. Employer. This is a point that we'll focus on because it tends to go completely unnoticed when we discuss customer satisfaction. A huge amount of focus is on the consumer, and a lot less goes into the actual agent providing the service. So we'll talk about how employee turnover can actually have a pretty significant and detrimental effect on your ability to satisfy customer needs in 2015 and in the years moving forward. And last but certainly not least, there's a common inconsistency and sometimes a complete lack of training across contact centers and the respective agents manning those institutions. So both me and Raj will talk about that as well. And so speaking about our guest speakers, some brief introductions about exactly who they are. So once again, we have Raj Sharma, the President and CEO of 3C Logic. Raj comes with 20 years of networking, VoIP, as well as communication experience. He was actually the 2000 Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award recipient. And for being one of the co-founder of 3C Logic, he co-founded Nextone, which went on to be GenBand, held senior positions at IBM and New Bridge Systems, which went on to be Alcatel, as well as Hughes Network Systems. A lot of experience there. With us as well is Rodney Kuhn, who is the founder and CEO of Envision. Rodney is also a 20-year veteran entrepreneur as well as an innovator with the majority of his experience tied to the contact center space. He founded Envision in 1994 and has been providing workforce optimization solutions for a number of companies, most notably Alaska Airlines, Nike, Delta Hotels, and many, many more. So I want to turn over the webinar to both Raj and Rodney, and I believe Raj it will be starting us off with a discussion about how to unify your company's voice.
Thank you. Contactors are becoming the new face of the enterprise, but they also need to have a single company voice. And so let's look at what is happening today across industries, across organizations. Really is no ownership in terms of who owns the contact center or who should own the contact center. Sometimes contact centers are thrown into customer service organizations, sometimes in operations, sometimes in marketing. So the IT department owns them. And worse, they get thrown around when there are they get bounced around from one organization to the other when there are reorgs that happen so very frequently. And as a result, what happens is that the customer service reps in these contact centers really don't have clear objectives and clear directives in terms of how they can become the face of the enterprise, how they can become the single voice of the enterprise. Agents are told to do different things, and then instead of having a single face with a single voice, we have a multi-headed beast that has all kinds of different messages, and that's where the hot stories come out. For example, the cable company rep who was told to keep the customer at any cost, eventually losing the customer, getting bad publicity. So I think the overall companies need to look at contact centers in a different way, and really they need to have a unified communication strategy. So the messaging and the way the customer experience is built up right from sign the customer all the way till they are in production has to be unified, and really the contact centers become the not only the face, the voice, but also the czar when it comes to customer experience. So they are the focal point for all customer experience. And contact centers cannot be on their own island either. They would need access to different departments, and they can bring the different departments together along with their objectives, making sure that the customer experience is of prime importance. But Rodney, I think it really boils down to knowing your priorities, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the next topic we'd like to talk about is really knowing and understanding what your priorities are. And a lot of it comes down to us thinking about what are our contact center goals. And of course, most of us have one or more of these as our goals. We obviously want to retain customers. We want to reduce agent attrition. You want to improve productivity and reduce operating expenses as much as possible. But the goals align with what our internal objectives are. And there's a big gap here is what customers expect when they're interacting with our organizations and how we achieve these goals. Customers expect 24/7 access to information today. They want, when they to talk to a helpful and very highly skilled agent, access to information through multiple channels. And the key to driving a successful customer experience is to align your contact center goals, which we have some of those here that many of them are familiar with, so map to the experience that you want your customers to have. It really drives us to priorities. You can see from this research that Aberdeen published recently that for most contact centers, the number one priority really is to improve the customer experience. And that's got to drive, results and consistency. And as a top priority, this holds true independent of which channel a customer really wants to contact or choose to interact with us. That be a phone call, whether it be email, web chat, or email systems like the IVR and the website. We want a consistently good experience through any channel for our customers. So the last point here also that, as Raj mentioned, we're no cost center. We're being expected to do more and really drive revenue through cross-sell and upsell effectiveness. So how do you meet your contact center's priorities? Well, workforce optimization can certainly help, as can the right contact center infrastructure. And in fact, cloud is making this possible for contact centers of all sizes, whether you're seats or 500 or thousands across multiple locations. But the first step is really to understand your customer journey. What do you want that to look like for your customers, and what do they expect? Map your tools and processes and procedures to basically support that journey. Understand what the interaction patterns and the causes for those are for your customer. Next, make sure that you forecast for staffing purposes and ensure that you're staffed with the right number of agents, all with the appropriate skills. It's critically important to balance the needs of your organization as well as what the customer expects for that customer experience. We actually can't overstaff or we'll lose money. We'll leave money on the table. We'll have agents idle. And at the same time, we can't understaff. Otherwise, our hold times and customer experience scores will go way down. So don't forget that competition is a click away these days. So balancing and using tools and having a strategy in place to meet for your customers and what you want for your customer experience is critically important. The thing that is often left off the table because we're so busy with our day jobs is figuring out how to incent and keep agents motivated for success. At times when we talk about this, people think about money. It's going to cost me more money to incent my agents. But at Envision, working with a lot of contact centers over the last 20 years, actually found that there's a lot of creative ways to keep agents motivated and engaged and incent them, sure that they continue to do a great job. Just a couple of things. I mean, for top performing agents, you might offer them the ability to work at home for a day. You might also offer them the ability to have first dibs in terms of vacation time. All these things provide them with flexibility and rewards and incent them, but it doesn't cost the contact center or the organization much money. Now, make sure that you understand what's happening with the interactions between agents and customers is absolutely critical. And again, it's independent of which channel they're happening in. And in fact, when we're looking at first call resolution, historically, we've often just looked at that from a phone call basis. Times are changing. We need to look at when customers come through multiple channels and converse with our organizations. Why are they doing that? And is it for separate reasons or is it for the same reason? For example, if I send an email into my organization and I respond and I think I've solved the customer's problem, but then I haven't, and that results into a phone call, we want to look at that life cycle of that interaction and find out why we weren't able to help the customer the first time around. And it speaks to identifying, where our process is broken, where our procedures broken, and in fact, our product is broken. Oftentimes, we're asking agents to take calls on things that they don't really have responsibility or capability to fix. Products broken in the field, they're being sold at the field office. Billing issues, we send bills out on Friday and suddenly there's a bunch of errors, so customers start calling us on Monday and Tuesday. We need tools in place to really understand why our customers are calling and making sure that we can fix the issues that are broken and make sure our agents are enabled. And that speaks to kind of what the new contact center looks like. Raj?
In this new world of contact centers, where really the customer service reps and agents are the new face of the enterprise, the one voice of the enterprise. If you really look at how they are performing today, they're really not set up to succeed. And what's shocking to me is that 60% of the time when customers interact with customer service reps, either they are put on hold, or they are transferred to another customer service rep, or they have to be called back. So first call resolution metrics are way down than they should be. And the root cause of all this is really that the customer service reps do not have access to customer and systems data. And there is training involved, and Rodney is going to talk more about training, but really I don't think the customer service reps have access to the customer data that they need. And the reason for that is today, if you look at any organization, on an average, they're using 10 different software components, which all have to do with customer information. And the reason why customers are put on hold or they are transferred to another extension is because the customer service rep does not have a 360-degree view of the customer, because the customer information is now spread out in literally 9-10 different software components. So from a technology standpoint, it is really critical that we are integrating all these different components together. So the contact center technology itself, along with CRM, the workforce optimization software, workforce management software, ticketing, PBX. So that's what really gives that 360-degree view of the customer at the time of interaction, which is critical. Not 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later or when the chat is terminated, but right there at the point of interaction. Does the customer service rep have all the information pertaining to that customer at his or her fingertips? And really this really goes towards how well do you know your customer?
Yeah, knowing your customer is so important, and I think it's the opening statistic we had where 8% of companies say they deliver a superior customer service, but only 8% of consumers agree. That really points to the fact that we don't know our customers as well as we should. And it's a huge gap in the level of service that we're actually delivering compared to what they expect. So, my challenging question to our attendees today is, do you really know your customer well enough to understand what he or she wants and whether or not you deliver it today? Tomorrow, are you looking ahead? Do you know what's going on in your contact center that may be detracting from the ideal customer experience? Are we measuring these things? If you look at the survey from Wakefield Research, the top 5 customer service complaints that they logged in their survey, at the very top, it's something as simple as being put on hold. 49% of people said that this contributes to their to the dissatisfaction and a customer service complaint. That 50% of the people say that that's the top one. So we can find a way to correct putting our callers on hold, our customers on hold. Most of us would significantly improve on our customer experience. I think that's safe to say based on this survey. So the question is, why are they being put on hold? What I would like to do is understand why your customers are calling. So first step in really, I think, diagnosing this issue. Unfortunately, long ago are the days when customers would call for simple things like checking their balances or updating their address or things of that nature. Agents don't often deal with those issues anymore. Those are all done through self-help channels, like the website or what have you. However, you can get access today using agent analytics to really find out what type of issues they are calling about and why they're calling, so you ensure that your agents are prepared to handle those interactions. When I say calling, I'm rolling this all up into email, web chats, whatever communication medium that they choose to interact. And a lot of people today still think that these tools, like this word cloud that's showing about common phrases that are being spoken, that these tools are really expensive and they're only for the biggest of contact centers with the biggest budgets. The reality is that with the cloud, these tools and applications are now available to any size contact center, and they're critical to understanding why your customers are calling so you can take action. Usually as an enabler, this is the way that we do it. We go through a process of, first of all, assessing what are we capturing at the agent desktop level. There's so much information that we can garner from that desktop that we're capturing today and we're not using for analytics to really identify why my customers are calling. So we can capture things like call disposition. We can capture common themes and notes that they're typing, that they've used to tag the call, the applications that they're going to help satisfy the customer on the other side. And using all that information on the agent level, we can actually drill down and view the interaction, listen to the interaction, and find out why perhaps the call was put on hold. Why did it take twice as long as we would expect a customer service call to take, things of that nature. And if we get it at the agent level, then we can even go to speech analytics. And again, in today's world, with today's technology and the thing called the cloud, we're now able to offer this solution to any size contact center. If you look at this, you get information about your call patterns so you can eliminate the detractors that are leading to a poor customer experience. You can better align your people, your processes, and technology, and you can really get down to the finite details of make sure that you are really mapping your processes and your call flows and your agents and everything else to the journey that you've created for your customer. So here's a real quick glimpse in terms of what it looks like. This is a group of agents that essentially are taking calls, and this is a on-hold report. This is the number one tracker for customer experience. We want to know why callers are being placed on hold. And you can hear that, on average, these agents are between 15 and 18% of their calls are being placed on hold. This could be first call resolution analytics, it could be average handle time, whatever metrics you choose. You can actually drill down on these issues and actually listen to those interactions so that you can review them to identify where the problems are and fix them. Now, people think that, well, it must be an agent issue. Well, not all the time. A lot of times it's that, as Rob mentioned, the agents don't have the appropriate tools to handle that call, so they have to put it on hold. They have to escalate to a supervisor or call another department to get the information that they need, or the tools and the processes that they have in place are so complex that it takes them a long time to go find the information that the customer is using or asking for. So think about this that you could get by capturing data that's on the desktop, on the agent desktop today, and being able to drill down and identify the reasons why these are happening, and then taking the steps to improve them. And if you're doing that, then you're really helping what I consider your greatest asset, which is those employees who are interacting with your customers every day.
Yeah, and it's really it's really interesting. Your greatest asset, which is your agents and your customer service reps who are facing the customers and really representing the enterprise. What is really shocking to me is the atrocious attrition rate for customer service reps in organizations across the board. So nearly one third of the contact centers with more than 500 agents see 50% new customer service reps every year. That just points to the fact that the customer service reps, again, who are really representing the enterprise, are unhappy. And they're happy, and hence your customers are unhappy. Now, the likely reason for the customer service reps to be unhappy is because they are not trained properly. They want to help customers. I think more people in contact centers genuinely want to help customers. I think they lack the tools, lack the training, and as a result, you see them unhappy and leaving, and your customers being dissatisfied. Simple stats. For example, 1% increase in first call resolution because of proper technology and training will result in 1% direct increase in customer satisfaction, and up to 5% increase in employee satisfaction. That's the way to keep your customer reps motivated and in the company in the long term. So, Rodney, this is not just about training, but it's actually about coaching your customer service reps, isn't it?
Yeah, Raj, obviously we believe in coaching and have over the last 20 years helped a lot of companies with this and seen tremendous results. You know, you mentioned it, the primary reason for agent turnover, one of the big reasons is that they don't get enough coaching. They don't get enough opportunity to look at their goals and their targets. Supervisors, there's limited career options in their view, and they just don't have the tools to be successful. And the reality is agents want to do a good job. They go up to work every day just like we all do. They will be patted on the back when they're not performing at their peak performance. They want the tools and the coaching and the training to get them there. So enabling them with the proper training and giving them the goals to keep them motivated are also used to retain them. And you can see from some of these stats that that's absolutely the case. I mean, think about the cost savings we would realize and how much money we could put back into our contact center budgets if we put a good agent retention plan in place. All the direct costs associated with recruiting, I mean, at a 50% turnover rate, my gosh, the recruiting training budget alone would be a significant add to the bottom line for the company. So the other thing it does is it allows you, by retaining them, allows them to build upon the knowledge and the coaching that they receive so you improve your customer service goals. And so how important is coaching? I mean, coaching matters. I mean, this is a stat and survey out by the International Personnel Management Association. So you can see training alone, which I know we're all doing today. When we have a new agent, we onboard them with essentially a week to 4 weeks of training, depending on your contact center. But if we coach them, look at the improvement in agent productivity here. And this is real stuff. I mean, this is really important. I'll give you a personal example. I'm one of the coaches on my 13-year-old son's basketball team. And he started the season this year. We basically told the boys that, we really want to improve over the whole season, and we want to be playing our best basketball by the end of the season. And when the boys put up to the first day of practice, they knew the game. They were trained. They knew there's two baskets. They've got to dribble between the baskets. They've got to play good defense and good offense. And at the end of the day, they've got to score more points than the other team in order to win. So they were well trained in the game. What we did over the season, by coaching them, we helped improve little pieces of the game. We helped create fences that they could run efficiently. We, had them practice on their jump stops, their passing, their ability to push it down the court quickly. All those things that we coached them on, helped provide them with the capability to play their best ball at the end of the season, which we're at now. We're actually going into our final tournament this week. So the same thing holds true for agents. You can't expect to just hire them, train them up front, and then have them do a great job for us ongoing. There's too many things to coach them on. The career is far too dynamic. And the reality is that the world's too dynamic. I mean, they're getting different calls all the time. A coaching program that's ongoing that allows you to coach them in their seats, allows you to give them, the fine-tuning that they need to perform at their peak. Those things that'll, result in instead of 22% increase in productivity to an 88%. And I've seen it personally on the basketball court, and I've also seen it within the contact center. So the proof is in the pudding. The Gallup organization shows that with companies have ongoing coaching programs, 50% more likely to have lower turnover. You can't argue with these stats. Think about if we have lower turnover, just the direct costs and the recapturing of the recruiting costs and the upfront training costs is going to lead to greater profitability. But I think the biggest piece that leads to that is the fact that because we have more experienced agents, more motivated agents, we're driving customer loyalty. That's going to keep customers coming back to our organization. And that's what coaching can do for your organization. So in summary, I'd like to just kind of summarize what we think your winning strategy is. Agree on your customer experience journey and how your organization is going to manage that. You align your people, your process, and your technology. You just have one element. You have all three. And the cloud can really help you do this as an organization now. The thing is, know your priorities and align your contact center goals with those. You want to create an awesome customer experience, and you want to create a journey that's going to map to that. And if you know your priorities and you do work to align all these things, you're going to get that customer experience, and you're going to be one of those top 5, top 10 companies in the S&P 500. To also, you've got to really focus on making sure your departments aren't siloed, that the information's not siloed. The agents have to have access to the systems that they need to help customers. Tools, use those monitoring programs to review not only opportunity for coaching agents, but how can we refine the tools to help agents improve on their handle time? How can we lower at the same time we're improving accuracy, so we're not getting as many errors on the phone with callers that might result in a second call. Enhance the customer experience. To do this, you're leveraging analytics to understand why customers are calling, how you can improve their experiences, and at the ultimate, you're all trying to drive your organization's objectives in terms of cross-selling and upselling to find out where you can add more value in value chain for your customers. And they appreciate it. If you've earned the right to talk to them, if you've earned the right to sell them more opportunity or more product or service because you're doing a good job for them, they want to hear about it. They want more value from you. And last, I ended on coach your agents. They really want to do a good job. They show up to work every day. They want to work hard. They want the feedback that they need. Give it to them. And if you do that, they will improve and they will stay with you longer. Thank you.
So Rodney, and thank you, Raj. I think fantastic information from both of you with regards to customer satisfaction, how to approach it, and most importantly, the crucial role that contact centers are anticipated to play moving forward as it relates to customer experience, and obviously how customer experience can in fact be a point of differentiation for any enterprise of any size, and how cloud does actually make the solutions that make it feasible, easier to achieve, how they can actually be available to the masses. For our attendees, I thought it'd be helpful to just provide a little bit of background on the companies that both Rodney and Raj represent. So with regards to Envision specializes in workforce optimization. The product is Click to Coach, and again, it is a contact management and workforce optimization software that is available both as a SaaS cloud as well as an on-premise solution. And among the highlights is the ability to record, analyze, and improve customer interactions with on-the-fly training and e-learning through code packages, desktop recording, agent desktop delivery, or even desktop analytics and data triggering or tagging. And Raj Sharma from 3C Logic. So 3C Logic is a cloud contact center solution. They specialize in multi-channel communications, whether it's your inbound, outbound, or even blend. So for sales organizations or customer support or both. They provide third-party integrations to provide that unified link between your contact center and the respective departments, in addition to all the traditional tools that you would expect from a contact center, be it advanced reporting and analytics, your IR, ACD, predict dialing, call recording, and I believe most recently a new release with WebRTC technology that allows for click-to-call and click-to-chat. You may very well have some questions following this webinar. Both Raj and Rodney have expressed their willingness to answer any questions should you have some, and I've encouraged you to contact them directly. In front of you is the contact information for both companies, so you can reach 3C Logic at info@3clogic.com. You can do the same for Envision at info@envisioninc.com. And just as a last mention, both 3C Logic and Envision, in reference to the fact that they both believe that it's not using one solution, but a combination of multiple solutions to achieve your end goals, do have an ongoing partnership to allow you to have both the technology as well as the coaching capabilities, so that you have a complete contact center solution that will fundamentally improve your odds of making sure that you achieve the levels of customer satisfaction and experience that customers expect. So once again, I want to thank you, both Raj and Rodney, for joining us. I want to thank the attendees for your time, and hope that you guys will join us all again for future webinars, and we certainly welcome any questions should you have some in the immediate future.